Hey, you all. I told you all I was coming back as soon as I got the first chance to. And make sure the volume is up where you all can hear me. I'm actually still at work, but I got to a little place to where I'm able to communicate and to speak what God needs me to speak. A couple days ago, God was dealing with me. I was supposed to have came on live, but of course, the enemy is always throwing things in a way to try to stop you from doing things that God tells you to do. So, God needs someone to know, like I was speaking on the enemy earlier, and you know, the things that we make available to the enemy. You know, um, he was telling me, I'm going to read it exactly how he said it. He was telling me the enemy waits on what we make available for them to know. He said, you must learn to simply choose your company and surroundings wisely. Everyone is not your friend. And throughout life, this is one of the hardest things that I have had to come to terms with being able to deal with, because I was one who always felt like I couldn't be alone. But making the decision to make God my everything, my best friend, and he came in, he swooped in, he replaced the things that I felt like I had to hold on to, the people I felt like I had to hold on to. He was a full replacement for that. And I just thank God that now I'm in a place now to where I have peace and serenity about just everything going on in my life, period. I'm refusing to let the enemy get me down and make me feel like, they're in control of what my next step is, or what my destination is, or the enemy thinks that he's got it all figured out, but the enemy doesn't know anything. The enemy only knows what you make known for him to know. Whatever you put out and whoever you're talking to in the company that's around you, people are, at this day and time especially, they fake. They know how to smile in your face and make it look good, like they're really there for you, like they're really there for your best interest. But at the end of the day, no, they only want to know what it is that you're planning on doing, so that they can pray against it and try to stop the hand of God, or keep you from seeing. Because I'm sorry I keep saying that the devil is a liar, because God's hand can't be stopped. It's gonna move regardless to whatever tries to come up against it. So, just be at peace continuously. Walk in that peace, dwell in that peace, allow God's sanctuary to manifest within you, and to be able to, live out through you, because the enemy thinks that they're wise. They think that they're on to what God is going to do next, but I'm telling you, the enemy don't know nothing. The enemy only knows, again, what you make known for him to know. Watch your company, watch the people in your midst, pay attention. Let your discernment be up, not down. Your discernment needs to be up at all times. At all times. I don't care who it is. I don't care what they've done. Your discernment needs to be up. He was also telling me that we need to begin to pray for those who are spitefully coming up against you, especially if you haven't done them anything. Remain at peace. Don't allow yourself to get upset. It's the enemy. The enemy, I've told you all, will attack you through whoever it is you're surrounded by. The enemy will show up and speak through them to you to try to get you to fall back into a place of fear, or to fall back into a place of not knowing, what God is doing, or causing you to end up in like a panic mode. But that's not what Lord, that's not what the Lord has, for you. So always remember to keep God stayed on your mind. Don't get to a point to where you're, concentrating on the lives matters that you are facing right now. You know, if you're supposed to be in ministry, I don't care if you get that dream job that God has placed you at. That ministry is still supposed to be number one, no matter what. God always comes first, because like he said before, and he's saying it again through me, whatever he allows you to get, whatever job, place, how, whatever he allows you to get, it's because of him that you got it, it was made available to you. So some people get so comfortable and get into a place in their lives where they allow themselves to forget. I had to repent from this today, because not because I forgot how I got to where I was, but because I was allowing the pressures of life and the things that are coming with this job to stop me from putting the ministry first. When I know who God is making me to be, I know who I am. And that always has to shine through, no matter what. No matter where I am, no matter where I go, that light is going to shine. How you know when that light is shining? Because you begin to see that the people around you have left you. You're the only one. You're singled out. You're alone. You to yourself. Everybody else is together. You're separate. And that's how you know that you are chosen, that you are God's. You are his. You don't fit in with everybody else. And I'm to a point now where I'm at peace about that. I'm in a situation right now where I know my discernment is up, so I know who's against me. But I don't treat them, how the enemy would want me to treat them, evil for evil, or even to get back even with something no. I'm wiser than that, because I done been there and done that. And I know that it's not this person coming against me. I'm wise enough to know that it's the enemy coming against me, because he knows where I am is where I'm supposed to be. So don't be afraid when the enemy shows or makes available for you to know, that you're in the right place at the right time. You're not going to fit in. People who are in your circle are not going to understand the certain things that God is doing for you, and the people he's put in place for you, or just the certain things that you have to go through to get the full fulfillment of what it is God has for you to grasp. People are not going to always understand that, and it ain't for them to always understand. Don't find yourself trying to explain the full in depth of what God is doing, because the moment when you find yourself doing that, you're wrong, because you don't even fully understand. One thing I've learned in life is the moment where I thought that I knew, I didn't know. I didn't know anything. I was put to open shame a many a days, because I really knew not what I thought I knew, if that makes any sense. And so I was talking to you all earlier about the power, the power that is in, conquering your fears. Once you can conquer that, you can conquer all, because you know that no matter what trials that you face, or no matter what circumstance you're placed under or you're placed in, you're going to come out on top. No matter what pressures you're presently going through, If you can conquer fear, you can defeat that's ahead of you. Because a person who can conquer fear understands that no matter how the situation looks, because God is with them, they're going to come out on top. The victory is theirs. I was sitting in my training class today, and, God told me, he reminded me of how Joseph knew, and David knew also, you know, how he was supposed to be under pressure. No matter what came up against them, they remained calm. And looking at the things and the trials that they faced, they had a reason to react. They had a reason to snap or to go off or to hurt somebody because of the things that was going on in the midst. Some of the problems David's faced was because of he put his own self in that predicament when he disobeyed. But Joseph, what did Joseph do? You know, what did Joseph do? Joseph didn't deserve to go through what he went through. But because that the glory was greater and what God had for him to do, he had to go through some things to get to it. And it's the same with us today. But you have to recognize, like David did, even if he made his bed in hell, what did he say? He said, God is always with him. And you have to get to a point to where you understand that and you realize that too. And don't be afraid to let your light shine. I don't care where you are. And for God's sake, don't try to do things or say things to fit in with people. I've been down that road too. And it did not turn out the way that I thought it should. Be who God is making you to be with no shame, with no complaining. Just lay it all down, lay it aside. Some of you all, if you could push out the thoughts that try to take over you in your mind, if you could push it aside and lay it aside and keep your mind stayed on God, you will see that peace has been there all along, waiting on you. Waiting on you. It's like it says in Psalms 129, verse 2. It says, many a time have they afflicted me from my youth, yet they have not prevailed against me. Many a times the enemy has tried to take you out, but because God is with you, they have not been able to prevail against you. They have not been able to subdue you in the way that, you might have looked at your situation and saw for yourself and felt that that's the way things were meant to be. You got to come to a point in your life where you understand that no matter where you go, no matter what you deal with, God is with you. Once you come to know that, you will be okay. Situations won't cause you to feel discombobulated, or you won't feel like you're not where you're supposed to be, or you got where you are too early because of the different pressures and the things that's coming up against you. You will just be at peace and just know that that God is in control. God told me also, he says, I told you all that earlier already, but, I'm just going to say it again because, it did kind of get cut off in that first video after I listened back. But he says, once we conquer fear, we conquer all. He said, most of the time when we fear is because we are in unfamiliar territory. You're walking through and you're doing things. You're somewhere that you're not used to being. And it'll almost make you feel like, God, why did you bring me here? I don't fit in. I'm not, like how these people are, but sometimes God sends you to certain places to be the light the light that's needed. You know, you have a purpose everywhere you go. There's a reason to why God decides to do everything that he does. We as God's children have to learn how to trust the process and to know that he's in control. And nothing, there is nothing that you are coming to or that's coming up that is so pressured and weighed down that God didn't know you were going to get there before you got there. He knew every trial you would have to face before you got there. He knew the different roads and the different paths you would have to take before you got there. Know this. He knowed before you got there. Continue to trust the process. Continue to stay at peace and let the rest follow. I have to go and get back to work, but I pray that this message blesses somebody, and I pray that you all receive it and be open to it and continue to walk in the peace that God has purposed for your life. You know, it is time for us to get our joy and to live our lives the way that God has meant for us to live. And we have to learn how to get control over our emotions. Your emotions is another thing that can cause you to miss sight of the very thing God has placed there to catapult you into you to be. Be at peace with everything that's going on right now. Because again, God knows you were going to get there before you got there. In the mighty name of Jesus, be blessed and be at peace. Amen. And you all have a wonderful day.